So this life program is intending to address that. What is the relationship between the Oba and his people? Is it a relationship between a slave master and slaves? Or is it a relationship between a king and his people? Or is it a relationship between a father is it not audible enough? Is it a relationship between a father and his children? Is it an autocratic leadership? A leadership where the Oba says something and it's final. Is it not loud enough? I'm speaking loud now. I'm speaking very loud now. Is there a relationship between is it a relationship between a slave master and a slave and his slaves? Is there a relationship between a king and his people? Okay, just a minute. Hello, yeah. Call it. Imiami egwe. Bueno. Okay. Walero. Come. Ade. Agwale kenade wa. Won. Come. Alright. Go. Alright, call you. What's up? Alright. Sorry, my mom called. Now, okay, it's good. The volume is very good now. Okay. So these are about the things that we want to look critically into. I want to use about the next 1 hour to analyze this. The relationship between the king, the relationship between the king. No. It's not about Osasa. It's not about them. Basically, the people have to be aware. Otherwise, it creates that. What has been the relationship between the Oba and his people? A lot of people have been trying to say that is a relationship between the slave master and slave people. The relationship that the Edo people have with their king, is it a relationship of slavery? Is it a relationship of subjugation? All right. Is it a relationship of loyalty? Is it an innate connection? Is it something that has been packed? Okay. Now these are things we want to look into. We're going to cite a lot of examples. The point is I give examples when I give my lectures so that people can understand basically what it means. I give my lectures. When I give lectures, I give physical examples so that people can understand what kind of relationship do the Oba of Benin have with his people. All right, I'm going to give a lot of examples to back up whatever that I say here. So we're going to be dealing with practical examples and not blabbings and not unnecessary wrong postulations. And now, what kind of kingship do the Oba of Benin practice? What kind of kingship or do the Benin people practice? These are basically some of the things that we want to look into. These are basically some of the things we want to look into. What kind of kingship? Is it autocratic? Is it democratic? Is it monarchical? Is it a sort of a democratic monarchical government? These are about some of the very, 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 very important things that we want to look about. The first thing is that the Oba and his people. How do the Benin people view the Oba? They view the Oba as the God King. They view the Oba as a God King. They revile their Oba, and not as a result of fear, but as a result of connections. As a result, that they understand that it's a structured leadership where thought direction has to come from a structured organizations. All right, has to come from a structured organization. So there has to be a template of leadership. There has to be a flow of authority. All right, this is how the Edo people, this is how, okay, that one is off. So this is how the Edo people view the Oba of Benin. So as the leadership structure of the Oba of Benin being autocratic, is it a leadership where thought the word of the Oba is final? Yeah, on books, yeah. Well, yeah, the words of the Oba is final. And my Bible on books as a will of the people in several occasions prevailed against the will of the Oba. Okay, if the will of the people has prevailed against the will of the Oba, okay, if the will of the people on several occasions has prevailed against the will of the Oba, that means the rulership of the Obas of Benin are not autocratic. All right. If the will of the people on several occasions has prevailed against the will of the Oba of Benin, so that means the rulership is not autocratic. That means the rulership is based on sort of a democratic system. All right, we're going to be looking at some of the physical examples to punctate some of these intellectual arguments. I will say, let's take a case study. Let's take a case study. Ogiso Owodo. All right. Ogiso Owodo banished his only son, Ikaladera. That was against the will of the Edo people. That how can you banish the heir apparent? What became the judgment that the people of the Edo people passed on Ogiso Owodo? The Edo people, or Igotomigodo people, like some section would like preferably to say. There are two schools of thought. Ogiso Owodo committed a crime called Kirikuvia. He committed a crime, a sacrilege. In other words, that means an Ogiso committed a sacrilege. That means there were laws of the land that was supreme, that was higher, or that is higher than the Ogisos of the old. Get it? That means while we say that the Ogiso of the Oba word is final, they are the God we see, but there was also a law that was enacted that one of the Ogisos broke by committing the sin or the sacrilege that the Beninese called Kirikuvia. I will explain what Kirikuvia means. The sin of Kirikuvia. So that the first thing that we'll have to take from that instance was that there was a law that is quoted to be higher than Ogiso Owodo. Alright, that means the will of the people was higher than Ogiso Owodo. Alright, so therefore means that the rulership or the kind of kingship the Beninese practiced during the eras of the Ogisos were based on modern day concept of democracy, the will of the general people. So that means during the days of the Ogiso, there were nothing like an autocratic rulership. It was not what the Ogiso says that automatically is a final. First, the law of the land was quoted to even be higher than the Ogiso. The Ogiso is the law, but there were some certain laws that were higher than the Ogisos. Alright, one of which was the sacrilege law of Kirikuvia. Kirikuvia means killing a pregnant woman. is one of the highest sin, is one of the highest abomination that you can't commit in Edo land. One of the Ogisos committed that sacrilege. So that means there was a law that was higher than the Ogiso. That's the point. I'm giving you all of this because I wanted to bring a point out. Now, there were two schools of thought. Ogiso Owodo was banished. I do not believe that Ogiso Owodo was banished. I, Zodowa, I always believe what I believe, though. I do not believe that Ogiso Owodo was banished. What I believe that Ogiso Owodo, a regicide was committed. A killing of a king was committed. So I believe that the Edo people of old killed Ogiso Owodo in retaliation with the sin of Kirikovia that he committed outside exiling, all right, his only son, banishing his only son, that sort of thing. He went further to commit a sacrilege of killing a pregnant woman. So the law of the land at that time states that whoever kills a pregnant woman must die in the same way that that sin was committed. So I strongly believe that Ogiso Owodo was stoned to death. The death penalty that is even higher than the king itself. So that means there is a law that it seems higher than the Ogiso Owodo. Get it very clear. I want us, the Benin history, it's not something that anybody can lay conspiracy against. It's there, it's an open thing. A lot of people might not be convenient with some of the things I might say, but it's on the public domain. All of these things that I say, I was not there when it happened, so I read them. I read most of these things on tests, so they are all there. So there's nothing secret about it. All right, there are two schools of thought of what happened to Ogiso Owodo. Some say he was banished, but I believe he was not banished. He was killed. A regicide was committed. Okay, that is citing an example from Ogiso era. All right, I want to cite another example. Oba Ohen, who is the father of Oba Eware the First. He also committed a sacrilege. He murdered one of the Iyase. What was his name again? Is it Imuze? Iyase Imuze. Someone can remember me. Or someone can remind me, there was an Iyase that was murdered by Oba Ohen or Ohen. When that sacrilegious sin was committed, all right, there was a gesture that was made, like I don't want to go through the history of what happened. That's not the reason why we're taking this class. I want to talk about the relationship between Oba and his people, and so that people could understand basically that when people try to say that the Edo people are slaves of the Oba, they should also understand that there were laws that were created by the Edo people that was deemed fit higher, all right, than the Oba. So if the Edo people has been punctuated as being slaves of the Oba of Benin, it therefore means that they will not have the right to be able to enact laws that even the Obas of Benin fell victims of, or laws that were higher than the Obas of Benin. So that means the relationship of the Oba of Benin is loyalty, is respect, and is love. It's mutual. That is why town of Edo, Oba Edo, Edo Oba. All right, but those are tail hands. But let me let me analyze it so that people can get a very full grasp. So that when a lot of people are trying to give all of these that the Edo peoples are slaves and all of that, you should be able to understand that we love our Oba because he has always been there for us, and we have always been there for him. It's a relationship that is unbroken. All right. It is a relationship between the father and his children. It is a relationship between the children and their father. All right. It has nothing to do with the relationship between a slave master and a slave. No. Otherwise, the Edo people had laws. Let me be offloading all of this. So Oba Ohen killed his Iyase, because the Iyase saw that he was lame. The Oba that has a mood skipper, it's now the Oba that is believed that anchors between the two worlds, the spiritual world, Obeze and Oboto, that sort of thing. That's Oba Ohen. He was lame. He had a sort of a mood skipper. All right, it's portrayed as a mood skipper. A mood skipper, it's about the only animal that can survive in both land and water. A mood skipper can survive for minutes, even close to hours on land, but it's a fish, a mood skipper. Now, he killed the Iyase, and the nobles, the chiefs, were trying to inquire why such abomination was committed, and instead he was stoned to death. After that regicide, that was the second regicide and the last regicide that was committed. That was the second. I do not believe that was the first and the only, as being normally. Ogishowodo, I believe, was murdered by the Benin people. It was justifiable because he committed an abomination that is death sentence. So that means even the Ogisos were not powerful than the laws of the land. They were subjected to the laws of the land when they committed abomination. So that means Ogisos of the old and the Obas of the old committed abominations that we were also subjected to the laws of the land. So if they are saying that the Benin people, the relationship between the Benin people and the Oba of Benin is based on subjugation, there will not be a need for a law that is greater than even their God King. All right. This is about the argument we need to put. A lot of people will not be convenient with it, but it is the truth, because we have to place things in the right perspective. There were times in history where I usually tell people, I know sometimes in recent times most books has now referred to the Uzama, the Ejon, the Uzama chiefs. Oh, sorry, I don't call them chiefs because they are not chiefs. I won't agree. I would never agree that they are chiefs. The Uzama, the Ejon. Then I call them the king crowner. But in the old, they were king makers. Isaac Morioba, a concept. Isaac Morioba, beautiful concept. But in the old, there were times where these elders were so powerful that they were able to influence who becomes the Oba of Benin. It has not only happened once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It has happened even more than 10 times or 11 or 12 times, where some of these chiefs in the old were powerful enough to influence who becomes the Oba of Benin. Sometimes they succeed, sometimes they don't succeed. A very good example was Oba Esige. Chief Oliafe felt that what Oba Esige did to him was wrong. I have said it that it was not a Adesuwa's story or Imagweo's story. Imagweo's story is an apocryphal tale. It never happened. I don't think there's such person called Imagweo in Benin history. The Benins were trying to encode the original story, that it was because some of the prominent chiefs disagreed with Oba Esige for bringing Christianity into Edo nation. You cannot bring a foreign religion as and are enforcing it on the people. So they rebelled. And only I told Oba Esige that I will remove you from the throne of your fathers and I will replace you with another royal bloodline who was already a king, Anata of Igala. Anata of Igala shared there are some dynasty. There are about 2 or 3 dynasties of kings of the Gala. A particular dynasty lines of the kings of the Gala were Benin bloods, were royal bloods of Benin. So he wanted to replace Obaisege by one of the Benin royal blood who was the Ata of Igala. If that is situation had happened, I'm sure the Igala people would have today also be telling us that they were the one who gave us king, just like the misguided Ife people. It's also telling us that they were the one who gave us king. If that had happened, Oleya wanted to replace Obaisege with another Benin royal blood who was the Ata of Igala. So we need to start getting our history very clearly. So that means Oleya was that powerful to tell the Oba that he was going to remove him. Why? Because he brought a foreign religion that was against the religion of the land. So you cannot say that these people are slaves. Under whatever guys, they are not slaves. All right, these people certainly are not slaves. Man, go bring red wine. Man, come drink the red wine. Okay, that's one of the example. Another example is Obaro Ogba. Obaro Ogba was trained first in the island of Sao Tome. Then later years he went to Lisbon. He was trained as a seminary priest. He was a Christian who was baptized. So when he came to Benin, he said he wanted to become a priest. He wanted to become a Catholic priest, and at the same time he wanted to be the Oba of Benin. And the people told him, the chiefs told him that you cannot be two kings. You cannot be two gods. You can either be a god of your own as the Oba of Benin or serve another god. Oba, according to that parable, it means that Oba is regarded as God. So you cannot be serving God and also be God. That's what they told him. So they gave him a choice that, okay, if you want to become a seminary priest, a Catholic priest, fine. Go and become your Catholic priest. After all, this is what we quarreled over with your father. So you cannot bring that same level here. It's either you become a Catholic priest or you become the Oba. So you cannot say that these people that have so much power to now say the heir apparent can have a choice of becoming this or this. You now say that they are slaves, or that they were subjugated by the Yoruba bloodline, like they say. When someone gives you an option, it's your right, but they are still giving you an option. This is the law of the land. This is the law of the land. It's either you become one, you become one god. You cannot be two gods. Oh no, you cannot be a god and serve another god. You can only choose one, whether you want to serve God or you want to be God on your own. And in that said, he chose to be God by accepting, by dropping his ambition of becoming a Catholic priest, and not taking to become the Oba. When he became the Oba, everything that has to do with Catholicism, he paused it, or he completely disregarded it. So you can no longer call this Edo slaves because you now have social media phones and all of that. I'm not saying people shouldn't get all of these things wrong. I know a lot of people get things wrong by saying, is this other one I'm trying to say that the Edo people should rebel their Oba. You know how a lot of our people think. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm trying to say that the love that we have for our Oba is innate, is in deep inside our soul. Alright? Is deep inside. Is deep inside our soul, and it is not as a result of subjugation. It's imbued, correct? It's innate. It's ancestral. We were born to love our Oba, and that it is not as a result of fear. Now, that's what I'm trying. Follow color. This guy, they bust my head. It has something to do with fear. If it was fear, I've just told you reasons some of us were killed in plain words, were killed by the same Edo people. Some were told that because of Unine Nunina Urioba, even as a crown prince. So you cannot say that these people are afraid. They are not afraid. They love their king. And it is the love that they have for their king that created the impression of this absolute loyalty that we have for our king. And it's innate. Abima to, it is something when we were born that it came. My father didn't open my head and put and force me loving the Oba of Benin or me defending him. He didn't. We grew up loving him because it has always been part of us right from time immemorial. When I do a lot of my live videos, a lot of people do not understand. It's usually very strategic. People don't understand. If you are smart enough, if you carefully, if I choose a topic, you should understand that I'm trying to disregard a particular propaganda, and this disregard a lot of propaganda. Disregard a lot of propaganda. You understand? When people are trying to say that the Benins were subjugated, no, we're not subjugated by our very own father, our very own part of us. We had loved him right from the days of the Ogisos, and that's why we've continued to love him. You understand? The funny thing is, the very funny thing about this Ogiamien Badadash, this Ogiamien Badadash is that how can a people hate one of their own? That's what they are saying. That's what the hearing means. How can the people hate one of their own as against a foreigner? Where they make money, our the war hating, we hate Evian and his lineage, not like all of them, all of those misguided ones. Edo, then one Yoruba people just came and we just loved them. And they said that they defeated us in war. I'm still looking for what war, who led that war, who fought back. Okay, now, assuming Oromiyan brought war to Benin Kingdom, the Evian that is not claiming these useless people now that is not claiming that the Evian owns Benin, that means they were very wayward. They were lazily, they were cowards, they were wayward, they were foolish, and they don't deserve our loyalty. Because if a foreigner can come and get land, according to them, and get land, if foreigner can come, they all brutalize you now. Consider for more than 1,000 years now. We didn't record that aside only one small war, may not even reach 30 minutes, that led to the Ekiopaga Treaty, where this Olomi, Odige Olomi, who became the first Iyase, just took some of his warriors and vanquished them. It's called the battle. Some of you are not aware. It's called the Battle of Onueru, where they were completely vanquished. Only one small war in every 30 minutes when we take deal with them. We vanquished it. It's called the Battle of Onueru that led to they're not the talk that one. Now Ekiopaga Treaty that they always talk. They only talk, they tell them why the Battle of Onueru, when the head of the Uli Ogiame was cut off and brought Anayagbebo. There is a playboy. sorry. After they cut Uli Ogiame head, you people are not aware of that story. After Uli Ogiame head was chopped off, during the war. Ogiamia family, they wanted to form a rebel group against Obaewedo. So Obaewedo sent some troops, very small troops like this. So they're not even, I'm not sure they will even reach 20. So they can't go, the owners of the land, now so they talk. The owners of the land, now they say get land, the foreigner come. They don't even reach 20. You understand? On I mean get land, on I reach 1 million. The 20 people can't go follow and fight. The fight every 30 minutes. When they cut the head of that Ogiamia military, which is Oliya Ogiamia, they cut the head. They use the head play ball from Unweru. Unweru Asoro near first. They use that their leader head play football. Come St. Matthews. That's a Kyopa. You know, I can't. Sorry. So some people say I laugh too much when I'm talking. It's just very funny. It's just very funny how coward, foolish, and wayward some of these people are to even open their mouth that foreigners came and beat you people hands down for how many years? Almost 1,000 years. Now they use social media till they cry. So they'll see beat you again. What they big do? They will cut the head, take play ball 1,000 years ago. You know, say football never did that time. Now they say play ball. Anyway, I don't want to laugh. You know, sometimes when I don't know how these people really convince some of these people. All right, foreigners came and defeated you people squarely. After 1,000 years, when I not fight, the only small fight on one fight, the battle never reached 30 minutes. After 1,000 years, now I come and say I get land. After you people have been, you know, that shows that your ancestors, we're not even supposed to say Ogiamia of Utantan. Now, you are people who are supposed to be very shameful that foreigners came to beat you people hands down. In a town, say now we give up land. Oba you come from Yoruba land, you come play on a soccer. You come beat you and give one land. Now collect the land back now. And when I come kill and too now, when I carry another war come. And I tell the social media. Yeah, so he begs, he crawled, the battle of Unweru, the guy crawled. I said, bros, Cesar Ricardo, they use the head. Oh, a lot of people are thinking I'm catching phone. They use the head play ball. After they don't chop the head, they use the head. The remaining ones, they can't crawl. Yeah, that's true. The remaining ones that the head was not chopped up, they crawled from Unweru, present-day Asoro Street, down to St. Matthews, Ekiopala, where they went to meet Obaewedo. Anyway, you understand? So from that time, none other princes were attacked. They don't form any rebel. They can't even, and then they do Ekete, the throne me over the Sudan. And then now them be the slaves. If we are talking about slaves in Benin Kingdom, the slaves of the Oba, those people now them be the slaves of the Oba. We not be slaves of the Oba, we are freeborns. Them are the slaves of the Oba. Because now them, their papa, we use their papa head to play ball. I don't understand. So now them be the real slave. Man, you understand now? Anyway, it's expected that slaves are bound to not be doing kati. I think that's what they are doing now. Yes, slaves. Freeborn mining in Magmina, we don't have anything to fight for. The land is ours. So we don't, when something is already yours, you don't have anything to fight over. So the ones are not thinking that, hey, our ancestors, they use our ancestors head play ball. These ancestors play ball. So now let's come for revenge. Those are that is a mark of slavery. They are the slaves. And funny enough, slaves are not calling us. We that move freely. You understand? I did get me palace yesterday. Not even palace. The place don't follow. They don't even say. I did it yesterday. We move freely. The owners of the so-called owners of the land, they are all hiding. Then the slaves, the so-called slaves, were moving freely. Not be juju be that. And now they say 70 years old man. Anyway, I don't like talking about them. They are not important. But the aspect of the history I wanted to lay bare is the one I'm talking about right now. The ones I have to do are the relationship of the Oba of Benin with his people. It is cordial. It is a relationship between a father and a son. Even the Obas of Benin had to bend over to obey the laws of the land. People, I'm saying this. The Oba is the law, but there were some sacred laws of the land that were powerful, or that is, I wouldn't say, because they are extant part of our history. I wouldn't say that was. It's not past tense. They are still there. They are still there. So the people who created these laws were the Edo people. They are freeborns. The people who ensure that these laws, at all times that these laws were violated, that when these laws are violated, the sanction is being placed on the occupant or the violator. They are still here. And these are the people. These people can never, at any point in history, would have been slaves. What was the verdict of Oba Ewakbe? Oba Ewakbe, he broke the sacred law of the land. A lot of people did not know that Edo were Oba Ewakbe ho. No. Edo only retaliated. He broke the sacred law. He lost his mother, Kunyewe Bonoza, and human sacrifices were made. And when people say that, oh, the Obas of Benin, there is no old civilizations. I was reading about 120 old civilizations of the world that undergo human sacrifices. There's no single whole civilizations of the world. Even the Igbo people, you understand, that feed on humans. In Abia State, there still practices cannibalism. Igbo people still eat human beings. In Abia State, there's a local government, there's a village where they still eat. There are cannibals there. Is it the same people that called some section of themselves as Osu, caste? They still practice it. This is the same people that will not tell you that part of your history, you practice human sacrifice. Let them tell us what old civilizations of the world never practice human sacrifices. And it's not something, I'm not proud of it. But you can't fault only Benin people, every extent. Even aside the one we know for Ooni of Ife, there is a particular person called Bobaku. Someone you must sacrifice with your Ooni, you must die with your Ooni of Ife. That's the one that the people know. We know they know other ones. We know they know the other ones. So, you understand? So he committed massive human sacrifice. Now, what was his crime? He used a Benin man. Benin people were part of the human sacrifice that was used. Arie Dozese. Arie Dozese. They said I should meet with Dr. Oguname. Funny people. You know, since me and do you know since me and him we knew? Long story. we are friends. It's like my big brother, and if you tell him about Izodowa, he knows me very well. Nobody introduces Izodowa to all of these people, and so that's all. Well, you people now call it Dr. Oguname. No, that's not what I know him as. He's a friend. He's older, so he's a big brother. So so he committed honor Yedozese that he broke the sacred law of the land. And the penalty, because there was already a law that states that there was, after the last regicide of when the Edo people killed or murdered Obaohen, an oath was taken. You remember every Igwe festival, when Alihaime Oba during one of Igwe, all right, Igwe Roba or Igwe Roba, all the chiefs, enabled chiefs, they'll dance and dance or flip the eben, or they'll take the eben, and they will invite the eben, and the air can't talk. All right, it is in significance of the oath they took after they had murdered Obaohen that never will any conspiracy be harbored in Benin that any Oba will be murdered. So that act that is being reenacted every year during Igwe festival is a total loyalty to the throne, that we will never repeat what we did. You know, the big. Do not do. Can you see my hand? It is a reminiscence of Iyase Imuzevo. They were trying to ask about Nyevo. You understand? It reenacts it when they have every year ask what happened when they were asking about Iyase Imuzevo. Then in conclusion of it, they'll flip the eben up, inverted the count of a total submission that on no case should the Benin people, the Benin chiefs, conspire against to murder any Oba. But however, sanctions were placed. That's why Bayo wasn't murdered. The Benins would have also murdered if they had not already taken an oath. Instead, Yana Bizugbe, they abandoned him for having committed the abomination. You haven't committed an abomination against the land. I can go ahead and give a lot of examples abounds. So what did Obaohen do? I already answered. He murdered the Iyase. The Iyase found out that he was lame. He couldn't walk. He was lame. It was lame. So he now discovered that nobody was aware of the secret. The Iyase was I said inquisition now they kick cats. The Iyase go do wasabi. They catch him. So he was killed. Iyase discovered that he was lame. Nobody was aware that he was lame except the palace people, or some very few palace people. So Iyase wanted to know, because in the norm, it is only when everybody has sat down. But Obaohen was not different. He was the one who will get to Egwe Maton first, and he will be the last person to leave. So which is not normal. Usually it's supposed to be the last person to come, and the first person to go. Alright, but in this case, it was the last. It's always the first person to come and the last person to go, which was an exact opposite of how it has always been before. So the Iyase wanted to know why. So he now discovered that the Oba was lame. And because of that, the Oba also discovered that someone had saw his lameness. So the only way he can cover that was to murder him. And the chiefs didn't see the Iyase, and they were not asking. I say Iyase ayagwa kekpa, Iyase wo, omo umogun, Iyase wo. So that's when they now discovered that he was killed. And in retaliation, he was murdered. The regicide was committed. He was disabled. He was lame. So that's what happened. It's not the skyrocket. It's the history in all books now. It's everywhere. So, okay, I still have about 19 minutes. So the point is, The relationship that we've been having with the Oba of Benin has been a relationship of a father and his children. Yes, so on the ground of father and his children. But don't also forget, the law, there are some sacred laws of the land that even the Oba of Benin cannot break. Ogedu, Owegbegbe, that even the Obas of Benin cannot break. So that's why you see some of the Obas were conspired against. It was their right. They were standing on the laws of the land. They were standing on the laws of the land. I'll give you a very good example of during what happened in invasion in 1897. Oba Vorame was already told that on no account, there was already a prophecy about 563 years earlier that one of his children will be deposed, will be deposed from the throne. So when that there was a chief priest had already warned Oba Vorame to be very careful of whatever the white people wanted, it should allow them be. And Oba Vorame told the Ologose, the Oba Isiagbon, the Oba Hawaii, that on no account should they argue with the white people. Whatever the white people wanted, they should do. Now, the king has instructed his chiefs. Ordinarily, they are supposed to take, but there was something, there was a clause. And that clause was, if we listen to the Oba of Benin, he's our father, we have to listen to him. He's the king, he's our king, we have to listen to him. But the law of the land states that during when our king is doing his festival, he must not see anybody. He must not see anybody. So it was these people, these brave men, were left with the choice to either obey you're left with this choice. Either you obey the Oba, or you obey the laws of the land, the sacred laws of the land. Instead, they obey the sacred laws of the land. By killing those miscreants, by killing those bastards, they obey the laws of the land. It was the word of the king is against the laws of the land. The king said, whatever the white men wanted, allow them be. And they now remembered that interacting with these white people, the white people said they want to go and see the Oba of Benin during Agwe, during the fasting period, where the law of the land states that the Oba cannot see foreigner. And the Oba has already told them, you must see, if they want to come and see me, let them come and see me. And they said, it's the law. It is a matter of what the king has said and what the law said, and they follow what the law said. So those people, I might say, Oba or Edo Oba. I've always stressed on this matter. People seem not to understand. It is an equilibrium that the Oba understands and the people understands. You cannot separate the king from his people. The people is the king is the people. And every time I do, if you do yaga kukugbe, I give Oba gatota yekete oyidena saloba. So that means the Oba is equated to the collectivism of the Edo people. But what separates the Oba from the collectivism of the people is the throne. You will not understand. These people were patriots. David Ogedegbe, these people were patriots. I will do the same because I'm also a patriot. These people were patriots. They weren't disloyal to the Oba. They weren't disrespectful to the Oba. But they understand the laws of the land. They are patriots, and they must. I've always said it. I've always told people all of those fallacies that Ologose, Oba Isiagbon, Oba Hawaii, or Siamen Ogbaido. Complete balderdash. Siamen Ogbaido. Yes, I mean, not by the way. Whether they had killed the white people or they had not killed the white people, the fate of Benin Kingdom was already sealed 15 years earlier, before 1897. It was sealed. The British wanted to bring the war first in 1892, but one or two things happened. They had to pause it. So it wasn't about Ologbose. They defended the sacrosanctity of the laws of the land. So to me, they are heroes, and I've sworn with my life that just like Queen Eden's day have come to stay, just like the Heroes' Day, starting from next year, we kickstart in Benin Kingdom, where we can celebrate these great heroes of British invasion 1897. Fulani has more. We do a war in my everyday now. Benin people here, the born here talk here. They're selling lands. I'm not against their office, or I'm against the activity. Here you talk here. None of them, they are using gun to shoot themselves. I've never seen any of them use gun to shoot one Fulani headsman. You see the stupidity, because these people are not patriots. They are self-centered bastards. I want to hear you talk. I be chief priest. People who are supposed to be na mwe kankai na mwe na vie kankai na ebonorewo ato. They've used their stupid, corrupt minds to spoil the deities of this land. To spoil to spoil. You understand? To spoil. You understand? I want last more. Waiting or suppose they shrine, they give cola nuts and snap, so that now they boato, so that if all these Fulani men, they company, understand? They die. Here you want it. Here you talk. Understand? All the guns they have, they are using it to kill themselves. All of them. None of them has been able to kill one Fulani headsman who has been raping their wives and our wives and our children, our wives and our mothers. Understand? You see how stingy, how sensitive that they are. These were not Ologbose. Anyway, if it was the time, the eras of the Ologbose, one Fulani guy that is calling himself Buhari, Aso Rock, will not be telling Ologbose that he should leave Fulani herdsmen. That will even be the reason that Ologbose will go and be killing all of them. These are patriots. Probably the last patriots we ever had in this land. People who sees the affairs of the land far above themselves. I don't take any of these people serious, most especially all of these people. I know a lot of them. They are all self-serving, centered bastards. All of them. They are all anybody. A lot of these people, I know them in person. They are trying to do one or two things, and people are clapping for them. They are really trying to do all these things for themselves. Some of them want to speak the truth. I heard some people are still supporting that Ohoromi and all of that. It's not about Ohoromi. The entire system is faulted. The entire system, from all of these communities, all of it. It shows that one is an Umuda. You understand? You understand? So, but in all of these that I've said, we should understand the roles of these great outstanding patriots. And I will always doff my cap for all of these people, and I respect them so much. So we should always put that in backs of our mind, that the relationship of the Oba of Benin and his people, it's not the relationship of a slave master and a slave. We have always been free bonds. What is this man talk? Say the Juju in Benin now they drink anything. That's the reason. That's very funny. Say they drink anything. But even Juju have to upgrade. Why are you upgrading the juju? Anyway, so, okay, this matter is very serious. Oh yeah, Marvis, pull yourself together. No, don't laugh, don't laugh. All right, people think that when I do all of these things, I'm not serious about it. Please, it's my person. I don't get too over serious about things. But just pick the truth from all of these things that I say, and forget about my funny disposition. I'm a very funny guy. But the point is that, and maybe because they don't drink anything, maybe snap or myself. Snap. Okay, but a lot of these people will now have very self-centered set of people who are not as patriotic as they should ordinarily be. I want a situations whereby we can start inculcating that mind of patriotism. We have to understand that it has to be the people that has to come first before ourselves, and that's the point. So, but the point that I've been able to make, well, I should have given more examples, but I just give few examples, is that we've had reasons to understand that the kind of monarchy that the Edo people practices is not autocratic. It's not autocratic. I'm trying to be very careful with using this word. It is in cases where the majority, if the Oba says A and the majority of the Edo people stands by B, it's always the B. It's a case. I don't want to use the word that the Oba's word was not final. It will diminish the context of the godly perspective of the Oba of Benin. So I'm trying to be very careful in using the word. Should there be interference of, or there should be disagreement between the Oba and the Edo people, most times the Edo people stand, head sway. It therefore means that the kind of rulership or the monarchical system practiced by the Edo people is not autocratic. It's not the Oba saying Wayawana. That's why he had councils of elders. He created it itself. All right, he created the councils of elders so that Ahizio could be. It was how do I put it? I'm trying to use the right word to put. It was centrally based idea that okay, this is the issue that is bedeviling the kingdom. That's how the Oba has ruled all through the first dynasty to the second dynasty. It has always been like that. To even make it more fair, dukedomship system was created so that people can have a justice system that serve in consonance with the laws of the land. That some were created by the Oba of Benin, but largely a lot of them were created by both the royal institution and every other institution in Benin Kingdom. All right, so we have had a very fair equilibrium form of governance where for the Oba to take an absolute decision, it must have to be in tandem. So it has to be in equilibrium with the yearnings and aspirations of the Edo people. All right, so that's a perfect system of governance. And quickly, those of you who are accusing the Oba of Benin of a lot of these social menace going on in Edo State, a lot of failures of all of these Ohens, Ojonwes, Inigi, who are now supposed to know their duties of upholding the justice system in their own vicinity, in their own dukedom, in their own community, or in their own village. Some of you who are now accusing the Oba of Benin for insecurity in Edo land, that is unfair. Because do you know why? Oba Benin is not in charge. Compare now. That's why you see why I don't take a lot of these political people. You see, I don't there's never a time that I'll have to hold the word of a governor of any state or even a president over the words of the Oba of Benin. The reason is very simple. When the Oba of Benin was in absolute in charge, when it was a political, traditional, administrative, in all words, when it was the head of the Edo people, we had no insecurity system. In short, they built one of the most highly advanced security system called the Benin Wall or the Great Wall of Benin. So they were security conscious. When the Oba of Benin was in charge, all of these things that is happening, none of them happened. So we're having all of these problems surrounding us because he's no longer in charge. And you cannot blame him for what he's no longer in control of. So you look at it critically. When the Oba of Benin was in charge, were we defeated aside the British? No. What was the security status? Did our neighbors rebel us, or were able to steal our people as slaves? No, they are now accusing us for practicing slavery. It's a parable. The Oba is too worthy to engage in slave. However, some very greedy chiefs, when our greedy people right from the one, did practice slavery. I'll talk about that some other time. But the Oba at no time practiced slavery. In short, one of the reasons outside Christianity that Oba Esike was also hated was because he kicked against slavery in Benin. Some chiefs didn't like that. Okay, I'll talk about Oba has everything. Why should he sell a slave? So, anyway, we'll talk about all of that. But the point is that when the Oba was in absolute control, none of these things that are happening in Benin Kingdom ever happened. It is a failure of the government, and they should be held responsible and absolutely accountable. But for the failure of these Okayeles and the Odionways and all of that, I think we should find a way to pass a message to the Oba of Benin that they should, because the power that they have is stemmed from the palace, and as such, a lot of these people has to be called to order because they are misrepresenting, they are giving bad name to the kingdom. They are, as a matter of fact, they are. You say, Oba Esike was my man. Okay, so I think we're rounding up now. So nobody should blame the Oba of Benin for all of these insecurities. When he was in charge, Benin were gallant. There was no insecurity issue. We were gallant. He protected his land and his people. No, it's not a Yoruba word. Oba Omonoba Nedo. Omonoba. The first Ogiso of Benin was called Oba Godo. That was in 40 BC. Oba Godo. So it couldn't have been Yoruba word. They stole it from us. They are criminals. They will steal our word and now say it's their own. Everything. They said Omon and they get them. So, okay, all of the relationship the Benins had with the Yoruba people, so they didn't steal anything from us. We stole from them, and now we conquer them, and now we defeat them. A lot of part of present-day Yoruba land were subjugated by the Benin people. So every word that has a parity in both Yoruba and Edo land, they were always saying, "Now we steal land from there on their word." So in all of the relationship that we have had, they say we have relationship. So there is no single word that the Yoruba will agree that they stole from Edo. That's how cunning and funny they are. Very cunning people. Very cunning and funny people. No, yeah. So where a lot of people are now clamoring that Great Benin country. When we have our Great Benin country, yes, we'll go back to the old system, Festus Taylor. Yes, we are not. That old glory is our glory. You don't have it. Your people don't have it. Your people will die to have it. The major reason a lot of people, you people might not get your country is because you don't have an history that will support you for having a country. For example, if you're an Igbo person, you don't have any history to back on. We have an history. We're a sovereign nation for more than 1,400 years. You were never a sovereign nation. You were just an hamlet of disorganized, unorganized people without a structured leadership. We have had structured leadership for 2,058 years, and we have been a sovereign nation for about 1,400 years. So the old glory is our glory. You don't have. So anyway, listen, I'm 9 to take line. So I'm running off now. So I thank all of you for participating on today's edition, and I'll see you guys. I'm not talking like a newscaster. I see you guys same time, same station, 7:30 p.m. next Sunday. Very funny me. All right, okay. I thank all of you who has been part of and be part and parcel. Don't forget that. No, on that one, sir, Mr. Paul. Oh, sir, I think I have to call it par. There's some discussions here and I have to have. On that one, sir. I talk now. So, hey, on that one, sir. Okay, we'll talk about it. Even the Shekiris were recruited. Yoruba military, Shekiris, Yoruba, and Hausa Fulanis were recruited against us. Invasion 1897. So it wasn't only the Fulani. The Yoruba were also part of the armies that the British recruited. And they will say they are our brothers. So they joined them, they come fight us. The Shekiris were also recruited, sir. So Shekiris, Yoruba, and Fulanis were recruited by the British to fight us. They betrayed us, squarely. So anyway, they don't take light. So I'll see you guys next week Sunday. Oba talk by you. Good night to you all.